So today, we're diving into how Greenland, the world's largest island, suddenly became the center of this huge global diplomatic mess. And this story, it's about so much more than just a piece of land. We're talking resources, we're talking strategy, and a really powerful sense of national identity. And it all kind of kicked off with this one pretty provocative statement, framing the Arctic as this new battleground for global power. And just like that, with one idea, Greenland was suddenly all over the headlines, turning from a remote island into a major strategic hotspot, literally overnight. And make no mistake, this wasn't just some throwaway comment. It landed like an absolute bombshell in the world of geopolitics. It sent shockwaves through the diplomatic community and pretty much forced every nation to figure out where they stood. Which brings us to the big question, right? After all this time, decades of being relatively quiet, why this sudden, intense focus on Greenland from the US? What is really going on here? Well, it wasn't just some random land grab. At its heart, this was a calculated, strategic move. It was aimed squarely at pushing back against Russia and China. See, both of them have been seriously beefing up their presence in the Arctic, which is, full of resources and becoming way more accessible as the climate changes. But here's the thing. To really truly get why the reaction was so fierce, you have to understand Greenland itself, the people, the history. This is so much more than just a spot on a map. It's a story, a really unique national story. Okay, so let's hit rewind for a second. To get what's happening now, we have to look back at Greenland's incredible journey, from its ancient Inuit roots all the way to its modern, self-governing status. What's so fascinating when you look at this timeline is you can see this steady march toward independence. For centuries, this was the home of the Inuit people. Then, in 1953, it officially became part of Denmark. But that was far from the end of the story. By 1979, they got home rule, and then, in 2009, well, that was the real game changer. This Self-Government Act is absolutely crucial to understanding all of this. It wasn't just symbolic. No, it gave Greenland control over its own massive natural resources and the power to run its own internal government. I mean, if you're a nation that wants to be fully independent, controlling your own resources, that's everything. This was a massive step away from its colonial past and towards real sovereignty. And all of that brings us to the Greenland of right now, a modern, self-governing society that has this deep, deep sense of cultural pride and its own unique identity. And it's that hard-won autonomy that really sets the stage for the explosive reaction to the American idea. So, how did Greenland and its allies actually respond? Well, the answer was swift, it was unified, and it was crystal clear. It can pretty much be summed up by the powerful message you see right here. Greenland is not for sale. At its core, this was just a fundamental clash of how two sides see the world. From the US perspective, Greenland was a strategic piece on a global chessboard, a geopolitical asset. But for Greenlanders, and for Denmark, the view is completely different. This is a sovereign people, and they have the absolute right to decide their own future. And that rejection, it came from everywhere. Greenland's own leaders flat out refused. The Danish government was just as firm, putting out a joint statement saying that Greenland's future is for Greenlanders to decide, period. Even European allies jumped in, condemning the idea and warning that it could seriously strain the entire NATO alliance. But beyond all the politicians and the diplomats, there's one number that I think tells the most important part of this story. 85%. What do you think that represents? Yep, that's the voice of the Greenlandic people themselves. An overwhelming 85% of them are against the idea of joining the United States. That is a powerful, powerful statement of what the people want. And it reflects this deep, deep desire for self-determination. And for a lot of them, that ultimate goal of full independence. So where does all this leave us? Well, if recent events have made anything clear, it's that Greenland's story is far from over. It's an unfinished journey, and now it's playing out for the whole world to see. When you just step back and look at the whole picture, you see this incredible story arc, a journey that goes from an ancient Inuit culture, through centuries of Danish rule, all the way to a modern, autonomous society that's now caught up in a 21st century great power competition. It's a truly unique evolution. And that leaves us with a final, really big question to think about. See, Greenland's story isn't just about one island. It kind of forces all of us to ask, in a world where powerful nations are all competing for resources and strategic position, what does sovereignty even mean anymore? And what's its future?